Sexual harassment is illegal and not tolerated in any workplace. It's estimated that 50% of women and 20% of men have experienced sexual harassment at work. Sexual harassment can inflict serious damage on an organization's productivity and morale. And managers named in sexual harassment complaints could lose their jobs, their reputations, and even their careers. In addition, managers who fail to prevent sexual harassment or who engage in sexual harassment themselves can be found personally liable in court. There are two types of sexual harassment: quid pro quo and hostile environment. Quid pro quo occurs when a manager or supervisor withholds or awards job benefits on the basis of sexual favors. This includes work assignments, hiring, termination, promotions or demotions, positive or negative performance reviews, or any other job-related benefit. Quid pro quo sexual harassment is a serious offense, and just one instance often is sufficient for a plaintiff to win a lawsuit. One single mistake could end a manager's career. Managers and the organizations they work for can be held liable even if a threat was not carried out or if the threat was only implied. For example, consider a male manager who suddenly blocks a subordinate employee's promotion after the employee requests that his physical contact cease. This manager could easily be found guilty of quid pro quo sexual harassment, even though the threat of adverse employment action was never verbally expressed. The best way to avoid quid pro quo sexual harassment is to make objective, job-related personnel decisions. A manager's personal and professional lives should be kept separate. At work, every decision should be made based on job-related information. Managers should avoid compromising situations whenever possible. Meetings should be held with groups of employees or in public areas if the subject matter is not confidential. When the need for private meetings exists, office and conference room doors should be kept open and blinds should be raised in office windows. Conversations should be kept to job-related or non-personal topics, and physical contact should be limited to a handshake. When traveling, managers should meet with employees in hotel lobbies and dine in public restaurants. Planning ahead will help avoid misperceptions. Hostile environment sexual harassment occurs when conduct unreasonably interferes with an individual's work performance or creates an intimidating, hostile, or offensive working environment. Managers have the dual responsibility of avoiding harassing conduct themselves while preventing it in the workplace they manage. The courts have adopted the reasonable person standard when addressing sexual harassment. In other words, would a reasonable person find the behavior offensive? The fact is that most sexual behaviors, when they are continuous and unwanted, meet this standard. The safe way to avoid sexual harassment is to avoid these behaviors entirely. Hostile environment sexual harassment can occur between employees of the same sex, between employees of different sexes, and between employees of any rank or position in the organization. Harassing jokes, comments, or other behavior can create a hostile work environment even if they aren't directly targeted at the individual making the harassment complaint. Sexual harassment is not limited to just coworkers. Harassment can also occur with individuals not directly employed by an organization. Individuals such as contractors, consultants, delivery persons, vendors, and even customers. Sexual harassment can occur anywhere that employees represent their organization. This includes work parties, dinner with clients, conferences, trade shows, sales calls, and charity events. Unacceptable behaviors that could lead to sexual harassment include unwanted flirting, repeated requests for dates, suggestive whistling, leering, and catcalls, long stares and sexually suggestive looks, using crude or offensive language or making derogatory comments about a person's sexual orientation, making jokes or comments about a person's physical attributes, or inappropriate remarks or jokes about a woman's pregnancy. Physical behaviors such as shoulder massages, hugging, and back scratching. gossiping or spreading rumors about sexual topics, or engaging in sexual conversations that are overheard by others. The use of demeaning or offensive names, such as honey, sweetie, hottie, baby, girl, boy, or hunk. Viewing or posting sexual pictures, magazines, posters, videos, or images. Sending sexually explicit emails, viewing sexually based websites, and the use of social networking sites for sexually based messages or pictures. Making or engaging in offensive gender-based comments or behaviors that denigrate people simply because of their gender, such as, "A woman's place is in the kitchen, not the boardroom." Texting or sexting sexually explicit messages or pictures via a cell phone. What is the manager's role in preventing harassment? Preventing harassment starts with managers and supervisors setting the example. This happens not only by following the organization's policies and procedures, but also by making the goal of a respectful workplace their top priority. Managers should always take sexual harassment seriously. This means never telling or laughing at inappropriate jokes or comments, even if the manager thinks his or her employees will not be offended. A manager's actions are the single most important factor in preventing harassment in the workplace. Social media is a particularly dangerous place for managers. Comments, pictures, or videos placed on a manager's personal social media pages can contribute to a hostile work environment, especially if other employees are part of the manager's social network. Employees should be educated through ongoing formal sexual harassment prevention training sessions and through informal counseling sessions when managers encounter inappropriate behaviors that need to be addressed. Training and counseling sessions should be well documented. Employees should receive a copy of the organization's harassment policy, and employees should sign a document that states that they have read and understand the policy. It is critical that managers clearly communicate the organization's progressive discipline policy as it pertains to sexual harassment. Employees need to understand that written warnings, suspension, demotion, and even termination could result from inappropriate behaviors. In addition, employees should be warned that it's illegal to retaliate for a harassment complaint, and that retaliation will also lead to disciplinary actions up to and including termination. Managers should periodically inspect the workplace for objectionable items, artwork, and behaviors. A manager's presence in work areas can greatly reduce inappropriate conduct and catch minor problems before they rise to the level of illegal harassment. Managers should watch for warning signs of unreported sexual harassment, such as changes in behavior or appearance, increased absences, withdrawal from coworkers, avoidance of particular people, or negative changes to work performance. Encourage employees to speak up if they feel they are being harassed, or if they witness the harassment of a coworker. Employees are not always comfortable reporting harassment to their direct supervisor. The option of reporting to another manager or the Human Resources Department should be clearly communicated as part of the organization's policy. When managers receive harassment complaints, they should listen carefully, remain objective, refrain from offering opinions, and carefully document all the facts. Thorough documentation is critical. Document the inappropriate behavior, the actions taken to stop the behavior, and any interviews you conduct with the victim, accused, or witnesses. Most of the time, employees reporting a complaint just want the harassment to stop. They don't want to get anyone in trouble, and they may even be fearful of the effect it might have on their careers and ask for confidentiality. While every manager should strive for as much confidentiality as possible, employees should be informed that some level of information must be shared as part of an investigation. However, employees should be assured that retaliation for a complaint will not be tolerated in their workplace. Employees should be encouraged to confront their harasser directly. Studies have shown that simply asking the harasser to stop will end the harassment 90% of the time. If an employee is not comfortable confronting the harasser and the conduct is only mildly inappropriate and isolated, then a discreet reminder from a manager is usually enough to stop the behavior. However, if the harassing behavior continues involves a manager or supervisor, or is physically aggressive or threatening in nature, a formal investigation may need to be conducted. In most cases, the complaint will be reported to the Human Resources or Legal Department. They will either conduct an investigation themselves or refer the complaint to an outside investigator. Managers should be prepared to hand the investigator thorough documentation of all the facts of the case. Managers who are responsible for conducting formal investigations should conduct interviews with the victim, the accused, and any witnesses, in addition to acquiring nonverbal evidence, such as electronic communications, pictures, and notes. If disciplinary action is warranted, then it should be enforced promptly, using the organization's progressive discipline policy. In addition, periodic follow-up should be implemented to make sure that retaliation does not take place. It's every manager's responsibility to create a safe, comfortable environment for all employees, a workplace free of harassment and fear and full of respect. Managers who take this duty seriously will not only avoid legal trouble, but will create a healthy, productive work environment with high employee morale as well.